Gaudy stats. Good God, that's gaudy.
I brought back the old music. Simmons, you son of a bitch, you did it again. Just this one time. May not in the future. I don't know, I just wanted to hear it again, you know? But yeah, I'm talking to Dan about the 76ers. Not going to do a long intro. Thanks for listening. Yeah, man, if, why not stop off in Shangri-La, you know, for a little bit. So I was actually thinking about the lake the other day.
How long has it been since you were there?
Oh, man. You know, it's been a really long time. I would say like 7 years, 8 years, maybe longer.
Okay. I mean, my last trip you were there, it was when you brought Brandon and Scott, and that was 2012. God. That was 2012. So.
I think I might have gone the year after, or maybe the year after that. Yeah, it's we should definitely do a reunion at some point. I mean,
you know I'm down, but it's easier for me as someone who doesn't have kids, you know.
Same here. But, yeah, I mean, I could definitely. I
mean, I don't even have a wife to disapprove of the behavior. So.
Yeah, we got to keep the photographs and cell phone footage off the internet if possible. But
my last year there, like, smartphones were definitely a thing in 2012, but they weren't like super ubiquitous the way they are now.
Yeah, like not everybody was a videographer, you know.
Right.
People weren't like, "Oh, this is amazing. I'm gonna take my phone out." Instead, like, it actually happened to me. I saw a bald eagle on a branch out here, and I was too busy fiddling with my fucking phone to try to get a footage of it that it flew off, and like by the time I looked up, it was like 100 yards away, and I was just like, "Fuck, man." I could have like seen the bald eagle take off, and I don't know. It was just classic, 2021 behavior by yours truly. But what you gonna do? Speaking of returning to normal, though, I thought that game last night between the Lakers and the Warriors was like, with the crowd involved and everything, it really felt like a normal basketball game. And
it did.
It's the best game of the season, in my opinion.
I mean, I certainly haven't watched any games, but it was way up there. I even stayed up for that one.
Me too, man. Me too.
It was past my bedtime, but I was like, I'm not gonna like. It was close in the fourth quarter, and I was like, I can do another half an hour.
I slept horribly. I had like the worst sleep ever. I did exactly what you did. And I'm on a different time zone, so it's actually earlier for me, but I was so jacked up, I couldn't settle down, And then I read this detective novel that had a lot of grisly stuff in it, and it made me even more jacked up. So maybe that's the real problem. But I love the play-in. The play-in is awesome.
So I generally am opposed to it, even though I really enjoyed the Warriors-Lakers game. But I just want the Warriors and the Lakers to be in the playoffs. And if there was no play-in, they would be. So, and ditto for the Celtics and the Wizards. I mean, I wouldn't care if the Celtics.
Well, they still may be. There's still maybe. Still a chance.
Well, right. I mean, the Celtics are already in, and the Warriors will probably beat Memphis. But
you mean like without playing, they would have been in without these games, just straight up.
Right. And now you've got Utah probably praying that Memphis beats Golden State, and because I wouldn't bet on Utah if they're going to play the Warriors 1-8. Now, I certainly wouldn't be shocked if they won. They're an objectively better team, but they're not going to have the best player on the court, and that matters more in basketball than in any other sport. So
And if Andrew Wiggins is going to keep playing like Harrison Barnes 2.0, like a better Harrison Barnes, then I mean he played awesome last night. I've watched a lot of Warriors this year, but I have not seen him play. I guess he's played pretty well most of the year, but he was like definitely locked in last night.
Yeah, he's playing to an extent like a number 1 overall pick. So
yeah. Just,
maybe he's motivated playing LeBron, who didn't want him.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of like, I'm going to show you, man. I'm going to show you. But yeah, he played well. It's just fun to watch. But no, I mean, I wanted to talk to you because about your 76ers, number 1 overall seed. In the course of this podcast, it's a short life, but I feel like there's a time where they're not laughing stock, but they were just really coming up way short of expectations. And, it was like Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. Is someone going to get shipped out? Now we're here. Joel Embiid just put up like an MVP level season and a reduced amount of games, but, he was hurt quite a bit as well. But 28, 10, let's round up, 29, 11 and 3 assists, along with block and a half, steal. He had this a crazy, amazing season. Where are you expecting a title? Like, what are your realistic thoughts on the status of your 76ers? What's that?
Am I expecting a title? Well, Ben, this is still a Philadelphia sports team, so no. I mean, yes, there have been 2 major championships for Philadelphia in my life, and those were both varying degrees of unexpected. I mean, the Eagles one obviously wasn't expected at all. The Phillies won. They were one of the best teams in baseball that year, but even that World Series got weird. So no, even if the Sixers do, I mean, I guess it would be fitting that they would win it all in a season like this. But I mean, no. I think they're what, maybe like 5 teams that realistically have a shot at winning the title, and I think they're one of those 5 teams. With both LA teams, the Sixers and Brooklyn, and maybe somebody else, But and you never know. I mean, weirder things have happened than, I was going to say than Phoenix winning a title, but no, that would be probably one of the weirdest NBA titles of all time.
Yeah, God, that'd be fun but yeah, it's not going to happen.
Well, Miami could finally break through or whatever, but I mean, they have the 1 seed, and that's really important because they're a very good home team.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to have some fans. Like the city of Philadelphia has upped it to like 50% capacity. And they haven't been the 1 seed since we were juniors in high school. So it's been 20 years. It's been 20
Allen
years.
Iverson.
Yeah, it was the year they had Iverson and they traded for Mutombo and ended up losing in the finals. And it was actually a pretty satisfying finals loss because they got 1 win off a Lakers team that hadn't lost a game all postseason. So
yeah, and it was the first game too, which is nice.
It was game 1. That was the Iverson stepping over Tyronn Lue that everybody remembers, which has taken on a life of its own 20 years later, as it should. But do I think that if Brooklyn is healthy, the Sixers are better than Brooklyn? No, but the Brooklyn's not entirely healthy, and they haven't had a ton of time to gel. You got to tip your cap to Steve Nash, though. Like getting a 2 seed out of this crazy season. I mean, yes, he's got a ton of talent, but obviously the players are like cool with him, which is no easy task given that that's James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. So guys who are,
I agree,
let's say temperamental, but this is definitely the best Sixers team I've seen since that finals team. They're probably objectively better than that finals team. And it sort of pains me to be like, yeah, Brett Brown was definitely part of the problem. Because I always liked Brett Brown, and like he put up with so much fucking garbage that they shoveled at him. Like,
yeah, he really did. He was a good soldier for a lot of years.
he lost like 1,400 games in 3 years, which shouldn't be possible, but he did, at least spiritually. And might have presided over the worst NBA team of all time. But also
Ricky Sanchez, what was that? Wharton? Who was that? The team. Some of the teams they had were.
You mean like Tony Roten?
Yeah, Roten. Yeah, sorry. He was putting up like 50.
I think he predated Brett Brown, but yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
They probably overlap. I mean, that's the thing. Like Brett Brown coached like legitimately like 200 guys in like 7 years.
Yeah.
And for at least one game. But obviously Doc Rivers is a good coach. He's had his issues in the playoffs, but he's also won a title. And obviously Daryl Morey knows what he's doing, because I read a statistic where like they said something like last year Josh Richardson and Al Horford made like 150 threes, and Danny Green and Seth Curry have made like 310 threes. And like that's a massive difference, and they make them at a higher percentage. And it just like that stuff matters, because that's going to make Ben Simmons better. That makes Joel Embiid more effective when the floor can be legitimately spaced. Like yes, Al Horford can make a three, but nobody's worried about Al Horford at the top of the key, And
it's true. So speaking of shooting though, do you think, this is a serious question, do you think Ben Simmons has nightmares where he wakes up like in a cold sweat, where he's dreaming about like getting the ball with like 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter of like a playoff game, and he has to shoot like a mid-range jump shot, and he like doesn't know what to do?
I think most of his dreams probably center around Call of Duty.
That's true. He's a gamer.
I honestly, and this is sort of one of the things I like about him, even though I do wish he would shoot more, if assuming he could do it effectively, and I don't see why he couldn't. He's an NBA player, but like
supposedly he's like lights out in practice.
But he like doesn't fucking care. Like he knows he's good. He knows he's an effective NBA player, and like
Great
he doesn't
defender.
give a shit that he doesn't make 25 footers. And
Yeah.
It'd be nice if he did, but he doesn't, and he's still really, really good. And so like I've come to accept it personally.
Well,
like,
now they have just him, and they basically have four of their shooters. Like the way Embiid's been shooting this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up to 37.7% from three. I mean, that's damn good for a five. I think it's like a little bit under league average, but for a five man who has all the skills he does, that's amazing. So it's like him. He's the only non-shooter on the floor, I'm guessing, in their main lineup, their closing lineup and starting lineup.
Right. Their closing lineup, I assume, would be him and Embiid and Harris and Green and Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like George Hill, depending. He's been a great addition, by the way. I feel like
nice
you're probably a long-time George Hill appreciator.
I enjoy George Hill. I'm not a huge fan, but I like his. I mean, his shooting has been a revelation. I guess he's always been a decent shooter, but
he's just remarkably reliable to be George Hill, and a lot of that is what the Sixers needed. But as far as Simmons goes, I mean, do I want the ball in his hands with 2 seconds to go? No, that's what Joel Embiid is for. But, like, the Sixers are going to play teams with even if, let's say the Wizards are the 8th seed, right? That's going to be Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. How many guys in the NBA could very capably guard either of them, and Ben Simmons is one of those guys. And then could switch on to Kevin Durant or even fucking Giannis, even although Embiid probably. Right, like the Sixers, their crunch time scoring is still definitely a question, and it might end up coming back to bite them. But scoring against them in crunch time is going to be a miserable task. So, they can trot out a defensive lineup that's just absolutely brutal. And, because like
I
even
really want to see them face off the nets. I want to see them face off the nets so bad.
I mean, I think that's what everybody wants at this point who's a neutral party.
I love the Bucks too. I love watching the Bucks. That would be fun as well. But I feel like the 76ers with those defenders could really get in the ass of the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But at the same time, like
that ass.
The Nets have three guys that are almost defense proof. Like
It's true.
You can throw anything at those three guys and they'll still get 25, or more. So that's the terrifying thing about Brooklyn, right? That if they're fully healthy, their big three is going to get them 80 to 90 points a game. And then you got guys who aren't bad filling in the rest. So, so you ask me, do I think the Sixers are going to win a championship? Like, if I have to bet my life on someone coming out of the East, I'd bet on Brooklyn. But I wouldn't feel great about it.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't really like thinking that they're going to come out of the East because they just annoy me in like so many different ways. But kind of does seem like if somebody was like, you have to, like, right now, choose right now, I would probably choose them just because of the talent. But as you said, they have a lot of kind of divas. They have a lot of emotional things going on with their players and injury concerns. And as much fun as I think that that matchup would be, I don't know, man. I guess, like, yeah, that's a safe bet in my mind, but I can't bring myself to really, like, definitively say they'll be in the finals just because there's so many concerns. And to be frank, Milwaukee's played them really well too. And, but I do think the whole Giannis in the playoffs thing, it's been talked about ad nauseum, but I mean, that's a real concern. Like, he just can't, they build a wall and he can't get in the paint. And I don't know, man. But, like, yeah, I think just seeing Embiid this year, he's on a mission. He still jokes around. He still has that contagious, charming personality he's always had that we love. But he's also just kicking people's asses and being dominant and snarling. He's got that. He has that look in his eye. He's just been locked in all year. And I just hope to God he stays healthy for the playoffs. Can do some damage.
I mean, that's sort of like the priorities, right? Keep him healthy all the way through. They had anything short of the Eastern Conference Finals is a failure.
Yep.
I mean, if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals and they play Brooklyn tough and they lose, you can't say that's a failure. Like, it's okay. That's good. That's progress, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Brooklyn has two of the greatest 10 scorers of all time on their team, so. But and keeping Embiid healthy is important.
Some would say 3.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie's a fucking wizard. With the ball. Like, he's in that rare class of athlete who he does things and I just start giggling because I have no other way to react.
Yeah, his ball handling, as a Kyrie hater, as a tried and true Kyrie hater, I still have to admit his ball handling is the best I've ever seen. And some of his finishes around the rim and his just ability to his range. I mean, he's 50, 40, 90 this year, which is insane. And he had a hell of a year, and he's deep in his prime now, in a good way. Not like he's at the end of his prime. He's like smack dab in his prime. So no, you're totally on point with that.
Yeah, so another priority is simply not losing to the fucking Celtics. Although, of course, if that were going to happen, it would have to happen in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that would, if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals and lose to Boston, then blow it all up. Just trade everyone. Just trade the entire team to Sacramento and just start over. And
yeah, that was embarrassing last year with Embiid like laboring up and down the court, sweating all over the place, and like just kind of the whole team just collapsing. That was rough to watch.
Yeah, I mean, last year is a completely different team. It's a completely different Boston team, a completely different scenario.
Yeah,
last year was
true.
A disaster,
Yeah,
but,
no Jalen Brown. If you lose to a no Jalen Brown Boston team,
yeah, and that Boston team would have to beat Brooklyn in the first round, which, let's be serious, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But
even with Tatum averaging like 50 points a game, I don't think it could happen.
No, I don't think so, because they'd have to still get 70 from the rest of the team. And
unless Peyton Pritchard starts throwing up 40 burgers, hey, it's always possible.
Let's not hold our breath. I'll be honest with you, I don't know who that is.
He's this really small, pale point guard that they got in like the second round or something, or into the first, from Oregon. And he had some moments this year.
Yeah.
He had some moments.
I'm sure. But I mean, yeah, man, I'm excited for the playoff basketball to happen. I'm excited for fans to be there. I'm looking forward to watching Sixers games and not being just excruciatingly angry all the time, which is how I've spent like the last 4 years of watching the Sixers.
Yeah.
Part of that was Brett Brown. Part of that was JJ Redick, who I hated and still hate. Fun fact: JJ Redick has never made an important shot. You can look that up. It's true.
I can't really remember any off the top of my head.
Some people just aren't fucking winners, and JJ Redick is just not a fucking winner.
Wow. Skip Bayless-esque from you there, but
except that I'm right.
I like it. I like it.
What has JJ Redick ever fucking won? Tell me.
Maybe something in college.
Duke never won a championship with him.
Was he kind of like a 6-man guy for that Magic team that went to the finals? I can't remember.
Yeah, he went to the finals in 2009 and lost to be fair, a much better Lakers team. And he was on a couple of those Clippers teams that collapsed at very inopportune times. So, and let's
drill down. Like, what's the crux of this? Like, what is it about JJ Redick? You just don't like his face? Like, what is it? You just don't like him?
No, it's entirely based on his time on the Sixers, and that they signed him to be a knockdown shooter, and when it counted, he just absolutely wasn't. He never made a goddamn three that mattered in the playoffs. Now
they signed him to like a $20 million contract, right?
Yeah, they paid him a lot, but it was like market value. Like, that wasn't a big deal. He didn't ruin their salary cap or anything.
Yeah.
Just like I just watched him in like 2018 and 2019 jack up threes that he was being paid to literally make and not make them. So, like, I never felt good when JJ Redick shot the ball on the. And he wasn't the only guy who fit that description. Like, I love Robert Covington, process Hall of Famer, but Robert Covington never made a three that mattered for the Sixers, as far as I can tell.
Man, I gotta agree with you on that, because I play a lot of fantasy basketball, and Covington is one of the more frustrating guys. Like, he can blow up at any moment, like have an amazing game with like a bunch of blocks and steals and hit some threes. But so many games I watch of his, like, I don't know where he got the reputation of being a good 3-point shooter. I guess maybe he had some years where he was pretty good, but he has been so off this year, like so hot and cold, mainly cold. He's shooting 38%, but like, it doesn't seem that way. It seems like maybe it's just like super hot and cold. I don't know, but I honestly, I'm not sure if he was worth the trade that Portland made for him either. But I'm with you on that, man. He's a frustrating player to watch sometimes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The Sixers basically spent the last like 5 years just full of frustrating players, and they seem to have largely gotten rid of those guys. And like Simmons is still one of those guys to an extent, and Tobias Harris I guess he just loves playing for Doc Rivers. I don't know what else to say, but he's has not been that guy this year. And like, Danny Green is Danny Green, and Seth Curry is Seth Curry, and like, they're reliable in their own way. And George Hill is, and even Dwight Howard is just like doing Dwight Howard backup center things, and it's fine. And it's just like, for a long time, the only guy I felt comfortable shooting was fucking Embiid, and now I feel like a lot better with a lot of guys doing it. And that's
Seth
nice.
Curry has been great, man. But is it just like, so you have Dwight Howard on your team? Like, to me, he's just like insufferable. Like, I feel like if he was on my team, I might like him a little bit, because he kind of gets in people's under their skin a little bit, and he mixes it up. Like, he did that to Jokic in the playoffs last year. He kind of like neutralized Jokic to a certain extent, not like totally, but he kind of mitigated his effectiveness. And he just is so fucking annoying. Like, it's just all the giggling and just I can't fucking stand him. So have you like Dwight Howard now? Have you always liked Dwight Howard? Like, what are your thoughts on him?
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't watched a ton of games this year, certainly not minutes that feature him heavily. But so the thing about him is, like, if he's making the fucking veterans minimum to be a backup center, he's actually quite effective in that role.
That's true. Yeah, he
So
is.
we're talking about a guy who's the first ballot Hall of Famer here, who
That's true.
is
Yeah.
now playing 19 minutes a game, spelling Joel Embiid, whatever, who can still rebound, who can still block shots, who can still score inside.
He's still really athletic.
Of course, yeah, he's one of the greatest physical specimens our species ever produced. And, he's
It's true.
yes, he's giggly and annoying, but he's not like in the spotlight, and his teammates seem to genuinely like him. So he's not trying to be the funniest guy in the NBA anymore. I guess he realized however many years ago that he's not. And I think we can thank Kobe Bryant for that a lot.
Yeah.
Taking him down a few pegs, and probably James Harden as well.
I mean, he tried to giggle his way out of the Magic, or out of Orlando, and it just completely backfired in his face. And that was like the beginning of him becoming a villain in the NBA, I feel like.
Well, yeah, he sort of like betrayed Stan Van Gundy, and everyone loves Stan Van Gundy. So
now everybody hates him, but people used to like him.
Well, whatever. He won a championship last year. He seemed pretty happy about that.
I'm talking about Stan Van Gundy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I'm talking about Durant.
Yeah. I feel like Stan Van Gundy, people used to like him, and now they suddenly have everyone's turned on him because he's kind of whiny and whatever. I don't hate him. I don't like him necessarily. I'm kind of like indifferent on him at this point.
Well, he's a fun Twitter follow because he's constantly insulting Republicans and calling them hypocrites. So
yeah, he is. He's funny.
But anyway, I am indifferent toward Dwight Howard from a basketball standpoint. He seems to he's like the best backup center Joel Embiid's ever had. So
yeah,
which is important because that's probably why the Sixers lost to Toronto 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
and it's true. Like when he starts, like he's really, really effective. I mean, he's still, as I said, he's still really athletic. Still gets a lot of rebounds. Still blocks a lot of shots. He can't hit a free throw to save his life. Like, go back to the gun to the head thing again. I mean, that poor guy. He really cannot. He can't shoot free throws, man. I don't know what it is about him. But anyways, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into Dwight Howard. Tobias Harris, though, you mentioned him. Did you know he's shooting almost 40% from three this year? That's pretty good for him, I feel like.
Yeah, that's what they expected when they got him 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's been playing great.
He has, and they've got, Tyrese Maxey's been awesome. I don't know how much of him you've seen.
Dude, he looks really good. Like, I don't know why they don't give him more clock. I know he's a rookie, but I feel like they might be forced to put him in. If they encounter a little adversity, they might be like, okay, we got this guy. We got to get this like super talented rookie just sitting on our bench. So we've kind of mothballed most of the year. Let's get him out. Maybe like take away some of Korkmaz's minutes and put in him or something. I mean, I don't know.
How dare you?
You like the Corky.
I mean,
Corky,
talk about a guy who's never afraid to shoot. You know what? For years, he was the second most reliable shooter on the Sixers. Like, Korkmaz is pulling up from 30 feet. Fine, do it.
I'm just mad at him because I played him in fantasy the other night and he just stunk it up. But no, it's true. He's deadly from outside. Another guy. Well, he's not shooting 40% this year. He's 37.5, but he's usually like white hot 3-point shooter. He's one of those guys, kind of like Buddy Hield. Like when he gets on a roll, he's streaky, But once he gets on a roll, like I remember last year, I think you probably remember that those few games in a row where he was like scoring like 30 every game and just couldn't miss. That happens in the playoffs. Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, if Korkmaz can win them one game in an important series with like a really hot quarter, then he's earned his keep.
Indeed.
So.
No, I think he might. I think he's got a chance. But yeah, Maxey, man, what are your thoughts? Like that was kind of where did they pick him exactly? I might look that up.
So there's a funny story for that, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Right Sturkey Sanchez podcast, but they have a Process Hall of Fame, and they are going to be inducting Mike Muscala into the Process Hall of Fame because he hit a shot at the end of last season to give Oklahoma City the 21st pick instead of like the 19th pick, which meant that the Sixers got that pick because it was top 20 protected and because it was part of the trade. and that gave them Tyrese Maxey, who they picked at 21. So
wow, yeah, yeah. I'm reading about that right now. Wow, that is what a find, man. What a pick. He anytime they start him, he looks incredible. Like he's just whenever they're like, okay, you're like the second or third or even first option. He's amazing. So hopefully
I'm glad they didn't trade him for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Because
it might turn out to be a really good decision.
Right, if that was the deal straight up, I mean, I would have done that because that gives them a better chance to win a championship this year. Right? But the Raptors wanted a king's ransom, including him. It's like, all right, you know what? Forget it. Maybe if Kyle Lowry were 30, but he's fucking 34, 35. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out like his stats when he starts. Let's see. I think I got him right here. Yeah, when he started this year, 8 games, he averaged 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
A lot of that were games when they were sort of meaningless, but yes.
Yeah, well, my point is that like when he gets the usage, he delivers. At least in this small sample size, his first year. But I think next year he will likely have a bigger role and
well, yeah, they're not keeping Danny Green, so and I mean, like I think he's gonna play some important minutes in the playoffs. I don't know how many, but he'll get a few. So.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope he can have a little coming out party, kind of like CJ McCollum. I remember one year, I'm not sure if he was a rookie or a second-year player, but he hadn't really played much during the year, and they put him in like kind of like were forced to play him in the playoffs for whatever reason. I can't remember why, but he was incredible. So that'd be fun if something like that happened for Tyrese.
I'd certainly be cool with it. But yeah, I'm excited about his future. He looks like he's going to be real good. And that's sort of the thing that, like, I'm not super concerned about championship or bust this year. That's sort of why, because, like, Embiid and Simmons are still super young, and they've got some young talent on that team as well that, like, him and Maxey and Tybal. And, like, I'm not, they don't have to win the championship this year. Although, that being said, I do think the window is wide open. So,
yeah, the only thing is Embiid, he's young, he's 27, but he feels like he's like 30 or like 32. He just the way he moves and like he saw the injuries and everything. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like there's a sense of urgency just because of his health and his body and his injury history and everything. But I mean, he was relatively healthy this year, and as long as they can get a decent, they have the number 1 seed, and he didn't even play, like he missed like 20 games or something. So even if they do that every single year, they can probably in the Eastern Conference they can probably stay afloat, even with him not being a full-time player. I don't know.
Yeah, and he's fully healthy right now, which is the first time they've ever entered the playoffs with that being true. So.
Indeed, he's getting some really good rest right now. One good thing about the playing games, some of these higher seeds get to rest.
Yeah, because I think that the playoffs start in 2 days, right? So
Saturday, yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, the Wizards are going to be on 2 days of rest, or Indiana if they win tonight, and the Sixers are basically going to have had a week for their starters. So,
is there one of the? Do you prefer one or the other out of Indiana or Washington?
I mean, I think Washington's a better team, but, like, do I really care? No, because if you lose to either one of those teams, then you're a fucking joke anyway. So, I mean, Washington's better. They've got 2 very good players, whereas Indiana has 0. I don't know. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon, does he count? Like,
oh, dude, come on, man, Sabonis, baby Sabonis.
Sabonis. Okay, I forgot.
How dare you? Jesus Christ,
yeah, whatever.
Dude. He's actually played.
The fact that I didn't remember him right away just proves my point. So,
can't believe you remembered. Like, did you say T.J. McConnell before Sabonis?
I said Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh, Malcolm Brogdon. Because T.J. McConnell, man, I know we messaged about him earlier in the season. Man, he's only gotten better, and it'd be hilarious if, like, I know you wouldn't like it, but if like they faced off against the Pacers and McConnell was like, the process revenge of TJ, and if he like showed out and like won a few games or something, that'd be hilarious because he's like a whirling dervish out there. I know he's not a great kind of on-ball defender. He's small and everything, but he gambles constantly, gets so many steals. It's just hilarious. Like, I don't know. I got to send you this video of like him just getting all these like crazy steals of like inbound steals. Like, when like the team scores and the other team passes it in to take it across the court. He'll just like double back and steal it from people. It's just fucking hilarious, man. I don't know. I'm a fan. What can I say?
I mean, I guess I'd rather they play Washington because I think that'll just be more fun to watch. So,
and Brogdon's just now getting healthy too. So Indiana does have the feeling of like not a sleeping giant, but they're a little bit better than their record indicates. They might even get LeVert back. We'll see, but I don't know.
I thought I heard he was done I could be wrong.
Yeah, he probably is. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Like, can't they just vaccinate him?
I don't know. He's unlucky.
Christ.
That guy.
Yeah, and he had a cancerous mass in his kidney earlier this year. Weird year for him. Strange. And no TJ Warren either. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens with the playing game. Anything else you want to talk about? Like anything you want to just get off your chest?
I am, for the record, very excited about Devontae Smith. I will say that. Keeping it in the
Waterbug Supreme.
But wait, what did you say? What about who?
He's a Waterbug Supreme. He's a little spry, spark plug of a guy. Is he going to be like a space player? Like positionless? Just getting the ball in space and just yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's not short, but he's definitely skinny. He weighs about as much as I. What's up?
No, I was gonna say like how tall is he exactly? Was he like 5'10", 5'9"?
He's bigger than that, and that's part of the reason his weight is an issue because he's not that short.
Oh yeah, he's 6'1". That's right. I knew that. Forgot.
Yeah, if he was 5'10", 170, nobody would care. But yeah, he's like 6'1". But I'm really excited about him because it's like the player I wanted the Eagles to draft for a year, and he's like obviously really good because it's like you don't do that in college and then fail. So in the NFL, like this isn't a Peter Warwick scenario who was like awesome in college and didn't make it in the NFL because he was too small. Like Devontae Smith's numbers are astronomically better than Peter Warwick. So
he can get bigger. He can like work out and get a little thicker too.
Get him a few cheesesteaks. Get him to get him some sandwiches in Philadelphia. It's not a problem.
Oh God, that sounds good. I'd love a cheesesteak right now. It'd be awesome.
Philadelphia can thicken a man up, Benjamin. You trust me on that one.
Thicken him up. Thicken up that soup, that Devontae Smith soup. Thicken up that cheesy mixture.
I myself have been thickened in Philadelphia on numerous occasions. So.
Thickened. I've been thickened too. Not in Philadelphia, unfortunately, not yet at least. But I look forward to being thickened there with you one day. Look forward to that.
Hey man,
it sounds really kind of sexual. It sounds weird, but
it wasn't meant to not be sexual. But I am talking about food. So
So Devontae Smith, man, what about Jalen Hurts? I'm a huge fan. I had him in fantasy for a short period, and I'm high on him in general. What are your thoughts?
I have no reason not to like him yet. So, I look forward to him seeing if he's the real deal this year. You certainly can't base it on 4 starts last year, but weapons were bad. The offensive line was bad. The team was bad. So, give him a chance. Let him beat out Joe Flacco in training camp and see if he can go 8-8 this year,
Wait a second. They signed Joe Flacco?
They sure did, buddy.
Oh, my God. Is it really a competition, or is it just was that just a joke? Because
I mean, if he can't beat Joe Flacco for a job in 2021, then he's not good. So,
well,
yeah,
are they really going to make?
Jalen
Hurts really compete with? I mean, is that just kind of like a? I'm reading something right now. It's like Jalen Hurts is okay with a not above QB competition, ready to work toward being a starter. But like, I mean, they didn't choose a quarterback in the draft. They could have. I guess maybe they didn't have a high enough pick. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But
well, they started with 6 and then they traded down. So obviously they didn't want Jones or Fields. Because
you would assume that's because they have Hurts, and so they were like, "Why are we going to get a quarterback?" So why in the fuck would they? If they end up starting Joe Flacco, that's going to be just shameful.
I agree. Or Jalen Hurts got hurt, right? So
yeah, he's a good backup, I guess. But he's honestly, I don't think he's good for the locker room in general. He's just kind of like a blah. I don't want to personally attack the guy. I'm trying to do less of that in general, but I mean, he just seems like he doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. On the field, like
you're talking about a Super Bowl MVP, Benjamin.
Okay. So now he's on the Eagles. Now he's a whole different man. No, I get it. That was a magical run by Flacco. That you're right to bring that up. That's a good. That'll shut me up. But I don't know. Recent history suggests that perhaps he's not the Flacco of old, but we'll see, man. I'm just excited. Yeah, Devontae Smith. What are the receivers looking like besides him? I'm blanking on who else they have.
Well, they have Jalen Reagor.
Oh, yeah. Great.
And then I don't know who their number 3 receiver is because I don't think Alshon Jeffrey will be back.
He was he was empty husk last year, so I don't know if.
I don't think Deshaun Jackson will be back. So I don't know. I mean, Dallas Goedert is their 3rd receiving option, probably their 2nd option, to be honest.
As he should be.
Yeah, because that Hurts is not coming back. So.
You got Miles Sanders still. It's lovely.
Yeah, they'll have guys who can do things with the ball. Your buddy Boston Scott's still around.
So. Love that. Love having him around. He's talk about a Swiss Army knife. But who's their coach again? I'm totally blanking on who their coach is. I haven't really delved into the NFL stuff yet.
I believe his name is Nick Sirianni.
Okay. What are your thoughts on him? Your early thoughts?
I have literally none.
Okay. Blank slate.
I mean, I was sort of in the camp of let Deuce Staley be the head coach and just see what happens. But
wait, didn't they pass over him and he was pissed off about it?
Yeah, that's why he's not with the organization anymore.
Why didn't they let him be the coach? I feel like he's beloved by the players too.
I don't know, man. The Eagles have done a relatively good job hiring coaches in my lifetime, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. But
yeah, do you remember when Deuce Staley drank all that pickle jue and ran for 200 yards? Yeah.
That was week 1 against Dallas in the year 2000. That was great. So
yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Any game where the Eagles beat the shit out of the Cowboys, I have a vivid memory of. So,
well, hopefully that happens a lot this year.
We'll see. But
yeah, I've been hate watching Undisputed and Skip Bayless. I guess he's now a Cowboys fan. I guess he's always been one. Who the hell knows? But
to be fair, he's been consistent about that.
Okay, it just seems like. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe he's always. I don't know. It just seems like he chooses who is. He's like, I've been a longtime Spurs fan, but you never heard him talking about Spurs 10 years ago. But anyways, no, I'll take your word for it. He has been talking about the Cowboys for a long time. But anyways, I just want to see. It's Schadenfreude, I guess. I want to see the Cowboys lose just to get his sad reactions.
Well, Dallas and Skip Bayless Schadenfreude goes together like chocolate and peanut butter. I mean, it's.
Oh, you like chocolate and peanut butter? Oh my goodness, I'm a huge fan. I guess everybody kind of likes it, but it's the best.
A few people don't, but And I wouldn't, like my favorite candy bar is a Butterfinger, which is chocolate and crunchy peanut butter, right? So,
I don't like that one. I don't know why. There's consistency in the middle, but go ahead.
That's fine. It's a texture thing. I understand that. It's not for everyone,
Yeah.
I like the flavors of coconut, but don't give me a fucking Mounds. I'm not interested. So
I'm not either. I'm not either.
But anyway, it's Dallas. It's always fun to see them lose. That's one of the nice things about being in the NFC East is that the other three teams, no matter who you root for, are all detestable and great to watch lose. So,
Indeed. But would you say that, and it doesn't bring me any joy to say this, but would you say that the Cowboys are the favorite to win that division?
I don't see how they're not. Assuming Dak Prescott is healthy, I don't see how they're not.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Although I'm hoping that Fitzmagic can have like a magical season, but as we've established, through the years, when he's given the keys right off the bat, he usually doesn't. Is he
in Washington?
Yeah, he's in Washington.
Okay.
I mean, he's going to sling the ball around. We'll see what happens. They had a hell of a defense last year, so
start him in fantasy against the Eagles because he always kills the Eagles. So
I feel like he's going to go to Dallas one night or one day and just inside Jerry World and indoors and just destroy the Cowboys, and I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing the Cowboys have going against them, other than the fact that they're the Cowboys, is like if anybody can ruin a good situation, it's Mike McCarthy. So,
I still don't know how the hell he won that Super Bowl. I mean, I guess you got to give it to Rodgers completely, but
I mean, Aaron Rodgers was just the best player on the planet. So,
what the fuck has happened to him recently? I feel like in the playoffs, he's not been himself. I'm a fan. I'm not like trolling. So I know there might be some Packers fans who listen to this, but I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know what the fuck is happening to him in the playoffs. Like he's been playing decently, but then he seems to not crumble, but not live up to his lofty standards. What are your thoughts?
I have to assume that there's only one real explanation, and that is that Tom Brady has a voodoo doll that he uses against any threat to him as the greatest quarterback, which Rodgers was. And then, after Rodgers won that first Super Bowl, Brady was like, all right, voodoo doll time.
Yeah.
And he's been poking him full of holes ever since. So.
Yeah, because, Rodgers had one of the best seasons a quarterback has ever had last year in terms of, touchdowns to interceptions. It was insane. He eviscerated the league for the most part. Besides a trip to Tampa Bay, which I think it was in Tampa when they lost during the regular season. But I guess the Tampa defense is just really good. But I don't know, that whole game was so frustrating to watch. And I don't know. And then of course, Kemp gets to laugh and make fun of it. That makes it even worse, when Kemp gets a feather in his cap. Obviously, we don't like that very much.
No, but here's the thing. Deep down, is he happy that Tom Brady's winning Super Bowls elsewhere? I don't think he is. So
yeah, I think he tried to hop on the Buccaneers bandwagon. I think he looked around. He's like, I don't really belong here. Look at all these Buccaneers fans with their weird face paints and their pirate outfits and stuff. I don't really belong here. And so now he's trying to get back on the Patriots bandwagon, but he doesn't like Belichick now all of a sudden, even though he's had 20 years of greatness. He's a hard lad to figure out, a hard nut to crack, so to speak.
Well, he's definitely the Skip Bayless of gaudy chats. So
he would wear that as a badge of honor. So he's going to be happy you said that. It's a compliment to him. Yeah,
and that is proof that there's something wrong. So.
He's not here to defend himself, so let's keep piling on. I love it. No, what else? What else you want to talk about? Anything else, man?
No, I don't have too much to opine about in regards to sports. I guess baseball having its sixth no-hitter in the first 2 months is pretty weird. But, I do need to get going. I got to drive home from work. And that's like a 40-minute drive for me. So,
yeah, man, get in there. Are you listening to any new tunes or any new shows? It's really quick, any movies you want to recommend?
So I just watched all of Snowfall, which was pretty good. I'm watching what am I watching? Oh, I'm watching Shrill, which is the show based on Lindy West's memoir, which is pretty entertaining.
Okay. Nice.
Let's see. Movie-wise, no, I haven't really watched anything movie-wise other than like all of the MCU movies a few months ago, like start to finish. Which
Oh,
was
yeah, I did that
entertaining.
too. I did that too. It was a lot of fun.
I hadn't seen most of them, and they're all pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're definitely entertaining.
They are. I still haven't brought myself to watch The Handmaid's Tale because of the trauma of the Trump administration, but I'll get there.
I haven't seen it either. Yeah, it's too dark. I will eventually, but right now I'm not there.
Yeah. And, music-wise, I don't know shit about music, man. Although I did buy a new car 2 months ago, and it came with, like, Sirius radio. So, like, there's, like, a Soul Cycle station where, like, it's basically just music for people who, ride Pelotons. But, like, a lot of that's, like, new music that I've never heard. And I'm like, oh, some of this is good. So,
there you go.
Yeah, I got that going for me, which is nice.
Oh yeah, one last thing. I saw on Twitter that you're drinking tequila now, or has it always been a thing, or you just started?
I mean, like I've always had a fondness for it, and it's always been some of my favorite liquor. But I've really started moving into it in terms of like regular consumption. So,
well, you're in the spot for it. I mean, you're in the part of the country.
Exactly. The selection here is great. The prices are good. The bourbon is way overpriced here. So, like,
I can imagine.
Although I can get a bottle of Basil Hayden's for like $35, so that's not bad. But
Not
like,
bad. What about Four Roses?
It's probably the non-single barrel is probably in the similar range. Single barrel is a bit more.
Yeah.
But but tequila and bourbon have a lot in common in terms of the sensation of drinking them. The flavor is not very similar, but
yeah.
You can just sip on them, and they're great in that regard. Oh, and also, I don't know, speaking to someone on Twitter, but in speaking of sports, a student I taught made national news a couple weeks ago, because she hit a half-court buzzer beater. I think I shared that in the chat. She hit a half-court buzzer beater to win the state championship. So,
was it on SportsCenter? It was like on SportsCenter or something.
Yeah, she made national news. And so that was awesome. If anyone wants to find that clip, just Google Natalia Chavez, and you will find her hitting a half-court buzzer beater to win the girls' state championship. And she's only a junior, so she's going to have her senior year coming up next year. And remember that name, because I am almost positive she will play in the WNBA. So.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that was one of the that's why sports are just amazing. That right there, that encapsulates the joy of sports. Like the greatest reality show of all time, I think somebody said, and it's true. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and that team beat them in the championship last year, so that was her revenge.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was a longer shot than LeBron's last night against the Warriors.
Yeah, that was something else too.
That was crazy. All right, man. Thanks for talking. I'll let you go.
Let's do it again soon.
For sure, man. Have a good one.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Enjoy that tequila.
So gaudy. Gaudy stats. Gaudy stats. Gaudy stats.